Check, 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 check. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're from, guys. Share this around. It's going to be a big one, a fun one. We're going to talk about profit potentials. How much money can you make with various amounts of money in your reserves? Prop firms versus brokers. We're going to talk about possibilities that are on the horizon here for you and everyone else. Share this around with your friends. All get rich together. All right, 2 minutes and counting. Guys, we're going to talk about profit potentials. Make sure you share this around. Got a good one for you. Ryan and Hunter in the house today. See you soon. Check. Second here. I've got the wrong camera going, I believe. There we go. We'll switch the cameras. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let's reset. Perfect. Okay. Wrong camera setup. Oh, it's cutting out. Give me 1 second. There you go. Okay. Nothing like technical difficulties when you're starting off. And Manoj, sorry, I pronounced your name wrong there, but Manoj there says unlimited or nothing. He's referring to the profit potentials in trading, as we're talking in the opening credits here. Guys, we're going to talk about how much money can you make on prop firms, and is it better to trade on a brokerage or a prop firm, or none at all? Really, that's another option too. Or should just sit in crypto, as Ryan would probably suggest. Ryan, what's your thought first of all before I break down some numbers? Because I do have some numbers in I got a notebook here, and it's actually quite shocking. Quite shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place in the world for both. I think that prop firms should be utilized to build your own capital because there's no faster way that you can build it. There's no other place where you can spend $400 or $500 for $100,000 account and have access to that type of capital and that type of earnings potential. So I think there's always an argument for a slice of the pie allocated to prop firms, but I do think that the profit of those prop firms should be then flipped to your own accounts, to crypto, to long-term things.
Yeah.
I think smart people will utilize and leverage both methods. I think there's a place for both.
Totally. And I think that's going to be the topic of today. And I'm going to get you guys to ask your questions. Best questions going to get a $50,000 account at the end of the stream from maventrading.com. If you don't get that account, you can also purchase on your own device. That being said, yeah, I think it's a blend between the two, and we're going to look at the difference. I think a very good idea is to use prop firms kind of as a leverage so that you don't have to have all of that capital invested in things. But first, guys, I know you're itching for it. There it is. That's the one, actually. You're itching for it. Bitcoin's been sitting flat at right around 100K. Not hit 100K yet. And Ryan, I think we made a bet, didn't we? We made a little side bet. There we go. No, let's do it.
We had a few. Yeah. Which one?
We did a little side bet. I said it wouldn't hit 100K before December. Looks like it's December and it hadn't hit 100K yet. It did break down just before it, but a little funny thing Ryan and I were doing. So I think we both owe each other steaks in the new year. And guys, are you concerned? Are you concerned, chat? I'm not sure if we're going to get over 100K. It does look like, so here's the thoughts, guys. We'll break it down. Bitcoin is going above 100K, but obviously this was a huge point of resistance. Everyone wanted the 100K, so they front-runned it and they started selling off. Now, the reality is it does look a little bit iffy here. It could go over 100K. It could do a little wick. It does look like there is going to be an area that you're going to be able to buy back down here at some point. It's going to do some ranging most likely, and you're going to be able to get in a little bit lower if you're not in yet. I wouldn't suggest buying the tops here. You are probably going to get some lower prices here, but the same means it doesn't matter if you think price is going to go up here, right? It doesn't matter. What's the difference, you know? The reality is the market cycle is getting close to the end, and there's a few things that are showing us that. One, Bitcoin has just gone parabolic. We're kind of having a midterm transition in the parabolic cycle. It's sideways action. All right. And the next thing to take note of is we want to switch over to something called totals 3 minus USD. Okay. And this is with respect to Bitcoin. So totals 3 is the altcoin market cap minus all the majors. Okay. So it's only the altcoins. Okay. And we're going to look at that with respect to Bitcoin. And we've just closed the month of last month really bullishly here, guys. So this means altcoins with respect to Bitcoin are picking up strength. So something that could happen is Bitcoin could just go sideways for a while. It doesn't have to go anywhere, but the market could still be going up in the altcoin world. You're seeing things like Ripple. You're seeing things like Solana. You're seeing things like Doge all go to the moon, as they say, right? Guys, I think it's a little bit of an altcoin market here. You have another one called Others, which is another altcoin. It's all of the coins that are not in the top 10, and you can look at those as well. Guys, let's quickly look at the monthly close on Bitcoin just so you can confirm. Holy crap, that's a big boy right there. So that is very obvious that we are in the parabolic state of the bull market now. The bull market started a couple years ago, right? Back in 2022, right? And we're getting near the end of it. And what happens when we're near the end, when we get these parabolic moves? As you can see in the past, we've got a couple months left, guys. So I don't want to get you too excited. We are nearing the end of the cycle. We are going to get tons of money coming in the next couple months. Probably going to end up somewhere up here, okay? But we don't know exactly where. Let's look at gold. Ryan, what's your thought? Do you disagree with me? Switch it back to
I still sell on my targets for end of this year and end of next year. I just think I think it's a beast right now that you can't apply the past of anything to. There's such a supply and demand issue right now, and it increases by the day with different governments and businesses and things that are starting to accept it widely. And there's only so much of it traded, so in order to free up the amount that's not traded, you got to increase the price so that people sell it. I don't know a mathematical way possible where it doesn't happen. So I still think 125 by the end of the year, and I think it's well over 250 by next year.
250, hey? Yeah. Your projections are a little bit higher than I think is going to be possible for the top of this cycle, but it's not unrealistic, you know? I don't think it's unrealistic to be able to go up to possibly 250. I think that's potentially okay. What do you take on?
So I wouldn't listen to me necessarily. Like my view is very long term. Hunter is definitely more right with or accurate with the trading and so on. So I would not, take what I say with like grain of salt.
Ryan is a forever bull and I am a forever bear. It seems like so. It's a good balance between the two. It doesn't mean I don't own crypto. I just like to predict the doom, right? Guys, I'm getting some questions about meme coins. Ryan, put them in their place. Put them in their place. What's wrong with meme coins? What's good with meme coins?
You know what? I don't really follow them too much. Like I know that you know a lot more about it. I do. I think your argument that you're making for some of these altcoins and things like that, going up in the second leg of the cycle makes sense, but I would let you answer. Like, I don't really study the meme coins too much.
Yeah. And I think for good reason, Ryan. Meme coins are literally named meme coins for a reason. They have no use case, right? And I would even argue majority of crypto doesn't really have any use case. But meme coins are the ultimate useless thing that is the most useless. Let's put it in a ridiculous statement like that. Because they're literally based off of a photo of an animal or something, right? They don't have any white paper. They don't have any roadmap. They don't have any projection to do anything, right? And without even an idea of what they want to do, how are they supposed to create anything worthwhile for longevity? So guys, don't invest in the meme coins. Let's quickly jump back to the chart here. Let's look at gold, NASDAQ, and S&P. Gold monthly close was actually not too bad. As if you can see, as it rallied back up, we were able to close above that little level I had drawn. So it's not too bad. We're bouncing off that level once again. Gold looks relatively bullish in my eyes going forward. Right. Nice daily just being flat. It might stay around there for December now that we're in December. Might not be much action on that. Let's look at the NASDAQ real quick. And you can see it retesting those previous all-time highs once again. Monthly candle. Looking great, though. Dailies. And again, we had a daily close. A little bit. It failed to make a new top here, but a really strong close. So it does look good on the NASDAQ. S&P probably showing similar signs. I believe so. Yes. Similar signs on that. Let's close that out and start talking about making money here, hey? If you guys got any good questions, post them in the comment section below. Why does Hunter sound like a EUFA Champions League? Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay, so here's a question here. FX Blues really quick, and then I'm going to jump into some stuff. What is the ideal account size for making a living out of? Ryan, do you want to take that one?
What was the ideal account size for what?
For making a living out of. So what could you potentially
off of? Yeah, I mean that totally depends on the geographic location you're in within the world. You know, $1,000 in one country it could be meaningless, and it could be living like a king in another country. So I would first equate it to that. Everything is in U.S. dollar, let's say. So if $1,000 in U.S. dollar is meaningful in your country, then you can get away with definitely a lower account. If it's more expensive than the country that you live in, then you go up to like $100,000 account. But I've seen people clip in Maven some ridiculous high returns from a $5,000 account. I mean, we've seen some incredible returns. So nothing's really off the table. But I'd always start it small. And I'm sorry over a cold, so my voice is not really all there. I would really always start it small, and keep doing what you're doing until you can get to the point where you're comfortable. But it just depends on the location you're in the world, I think.
Yeah, totally. Okay, guys. So I've got a couple notes here. Unfortunately, I should have brought up a whiteboard or something so I could write this down. So maybe in future streams, we might start bringing a whiteboard around and teaching you guys some stuff. Maybe in the new year, we've got some streams coming to you. Daily streams is what I'm going to be doing on the noon hour for 30 minutes, real quick streams. We're going to be teaching you lots of stuff. So make sure you follow around maventrading.com. There's going to be lots of stuff, education, all free for you. Okay, guys. So the question is, should you go for, first of all, prop firm or a broker? What's the difference between the two? Well, I really like to advise people to go for the prop firm, because a lot of people might say, oh, you got the profit split of the prop firm and you're going to lose money on that, right? On how much you're going to be making. You could then be putting that money instead into a brokerage. Well, there's two issues with that. One is you need the capital first to put into the broker, right? And two, if you do have the capital, why not invest that capital in something like Bitcoin, as we're talking about? I actually just looked up. Ryan, do you know what the monthly average return of Bitcoin is in a bull market? Give a
God,
guess.
I would have no idea, but it's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, monthly return. Give a guess. What percentage do you think just Bitcoin over the past 2 cycles?
2 cycles go back how long to what year? Do you know that?
2017.
Oh gosh.
Per month, just sitting there.
17%. 17%.
17. You're pretty dang close, actually. It's 20 to 40%. Yeah. 40% in the bull market alone, sitting in Bitcoin. So guys, that's insane. That's insane. So let's say you had money, and we're gonna do a calculation here, actually. Let's say you got some money sitting around. You got two options. You can sit it in a brokerage, but are you really going to be making 20 to 40% per month on that brokerage? No, you're better off putting it into crypto and sitting on that and just letting your investments soar. There are other things you can also invest in. The NASDAQ makes 2 to 3% on average per month, right? And that's if we're in a bear market in crypto. So guys, I've got a scenario. First scenario is we have a $5,000 investment capital, right? You can convert this to whatever currency you want, but let's say you have 5,000 units of dollars, right? Units of currency, right? And you're making 5 to 10% a month. We're going to use 10% because it's easier to calculate. Okay. On a brokerage, you're going to make $500. And over the course of 3 months, you're going to make $500. You're going to make $500. You're going to make $500. You're going to make a total of $1,500. Okay. On a prop firm account, what you'll do is you'll buy 10 accounts. Okay. Let's say you fail half of them. Roughly, right, Ryan? Let's say you're a profitable trader. You might fail half of them, right?
Yeah. Yep. Good number.
So you buy 10 accounts with that 5,000. You buy 10 100K accounts. Okay. You've just spent $5,000 roughly. Okay. Now you've got $500,000. First month, you do phase 1. Second month, phase 2. Third month, so first 2 months, you make no money. Third month, you're going to make 10% on that $500,000. You're going to make $50K, right? You're going to make $50,000 instead of $1,500, right? And somebody was asking earlier, I wonder if I could pull it back up in the chat. What's a realistic profit percentage for a beginner? Now, 10% is pretty dang high, I'll be honest. Okay. 10% is pretty dang high, but the ratios still apply here. Ryan, what do you think maybe a beginner? How much profit do you think a beginner could let's say you're just, slow playing, swing trading, doing something super easy. You're not day trading. What's sort of your idea?
Yeah. I'd shoot a month.
Sort for how much?
1 to 2% a month I would shoot for. I think it's fair.
Realistically, here's your goal is you want to beat the stock market, right? Bitcoin is a little bit different because it's on and off and you'll have years of breaks and you need to be able to make an income, right? But if you can't make 12% a year, then there's no point in trading. You might as well just sit in the NASDAQ, right? Because the NASDAQ makes more than that, right? So shoot for 2% a month is good for a beginner. I would say,
yeah.
So okay, guys, I have another scenario now. Let's say you have $100,000. So now we have 20 times as much money, and that would be a ridiculous amount of money to be buying prop firm challenges with. Well, what you do is you invest it, like we were saying. Okay, so here's the scenario: you put it all in a brokerage, and you're making 10% per month, same numbers as before. You're making 10K, 10K, 10K. Okay, 3 months in a row. And you made $30,000. You made 30%. Great. Good work. That's pretty dang good, actually. 30% in 3 months. You beat the stock market. Okay. Great stuff. Or instead, what you can do is buy 10 challenges. I'm going to say 10 challenges again. You're going to buy 10 100Ks. You're going to fail half of them, and you're going to have $500,000 in funding. Now, I forgot to add in something before. Was the profit split. Let's say you have an 80% profit split. So you're at 50K before is actually 40K. Okay. But again, 40K is what you're going to make out in profit. But then you got 95K sitting there doing nothing. What are you going to do with that? Ryan, where do we put that?
Bitcoin.
Perfect. Bitcoin then makes 20 to 40% per month, right? So you've just made in 3 months another 90K plus the 40K. So you've converted $100,000 to 3 months into what? You've made $140,000 profit. So you more than doubled your money, right? If you did it with the prop firm instead of doing 30% with the brokerage, right? So guys, this is the true power of trading with prop firms is you're able to leverage the small investment amounts so that you can invest all of your actual capital somewhere else. So then when you start taking the profits, Ryan, what do you think? When we take our profits, let's say we're making all those profits, do we just reinvest it or do we put it in more prop firms or we put it in the brokerage? What do you think?
I think you do an allocation. You come up with a split, an allocation where you park some long term and then you reinvest in prop firms. I think that's why. I think the other thing that you have to acknowledge about prop firms is that's your ultra. Think about it. That's your ultra like speculation piece of your portfolio. If you have $100,000 in a brokerage account and you're speculating heavily, you could lose all $100,000, right? In a prop firm, you only lose what you pay for the challenge, or what you paid. So your downside is so minimal that I don't know why anyone would do any type of speculation outside of a prop firm. It makes no sense to me why anyone would do that.
Totally. Yeah, to have those intraday trading, right? Longer term stuff. There's not too much. There's a little bit of a point in a prop firm. There's not really too much of a market for longer term stuff with prop firms yet because you can just leverage on exchanges and whatnot anyways, right? So you generally don't need more leverage than you can already have. All right, guys, let's look at some questions. Ryan, have you noticed any questions there? Shoot them out if you see any.
I have not. Let me pull them up. I actually don't even have the YouTube look like.
So to summarize, guys, with that though, while Ryan's kind of pulling that up as well, the benefits that the prop firm has is you have massive ROI potential, right? So if we even calculated the ROI, right, on those numbers, even we say, hey, we put in $5,000 on prop firms. Okay, you fail half of them. You failed half. 50% of the time, you don't even make any money, and the other 50% of the time, you only get one payout. That's what we're saying. You get one payout, okay, and you get a payout of 10%, okay, and so that ROI turns into from $5,000 to $50,000 minus the profit split, so $40,000. So you just made an 8x in 3 months. Where in the world is that possible? This is the glory of trading. Now, guys, obviously, this is all take them with a grain of salt. You need to make sure you're profitable first. So please, trade with caution, not financial advice, all of that jazz. But
all right, I got a couple questions right now. If you want some questions, let's see. Someone wants to know how fast you can pass a challenge account. I think that's pretty. You're such a good trader. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about that and how you do it? Because you pretty much pass 100% of the ones that you take.
Yeah, I don't pass 100%. I am quite good. I trade very long term, and if I am trading longer term, I will pass pretty much 100% of them because I don't really go into drawdown. The way that I'm able to do that is quite complex. Yeah, and you find really high probability spots to enter, and then I enter at a couple times, right? So it's not martingale, it's not layering, it's setting 2 entries, right? And then if it does go against me, I get out of it in a safe location so that the entry does get moved back, right? So it's kind of a complex way of trading. Occasionally, you will have to take a loss, and the losses are a little bit bigger than the wins, but a lot of times you can just exit at break even and you're fine.
Yeah.
But how fast can you pass? The reality is, to be consistent passing, it will take you a month. It takes me 2 months. It takes me 2 months to do it properly, slowly, and safely. But how fast you could do it? 3 days. The reality is it's the fastest. Basically, you want to just do 33, 33, 33, right? 33% is what I'm saying, right? And then you risk the whole account pretty much each time, right? That's how I would do it if I wanted to do it as fast as possible.
Yeah. I have a couple more. One question I'll take, but I'm going to give you one more first. This is a good one for traders that are with prop firms. Are you more focused on hitting the profit targets or maintaining the drawdown limits when you're trading with a prop account?
Oh, yeah. Good question. Honestly, I don't know. The way I trade, I just like the $200 number. I'm trading with $50,000 accounts. I like to make $200 a day. So what goes through my mind is if I'm in, if I don't actually even think about the drawdown. The most I've ever been in drawdown was $500 maybe, but I think my maximum drawdowns are way higher than that, right?
Yeah.
So potentially I could actually 4 or 5 times my risk and still be perfectly fine. So maybe I'll do that. But the reality is, there's 2 different ways you can approach this, guys. I'll actually answer your question rather than saying what I do. Is the one way you can approach it is trade on a churn. So you keep new accounts coming in and out and you blow the account often, right? So what you would be doing is you would be basing it off of the drawdown amount, and you would basically be risking the maximum amount that you can per trade. So it would be half of your total drawdown each time. So you would lose in 2 days basically, right? And that would be the fastest way to do it possibly. Or you could do the longer term approach, where you just aim to be consistent every single day, right? So I think you would have to base it off of your drawdown amount if you are churning it, rather than
Yeah, and I think anyone who looks at your, you shared your calendar of trades the other day, and I noticed that there were a lot of $200, type numbers on there. That's like me too. Like just slow and steady, I think, is what wins the race in this game, as opposed to trying to hit grand slams every time that you place a trade. So I think it's smart. No one should ever feel bad about taking that profit. It adds up. If you look at Hunter's at calendar profits, there's multiple days of $200 plus trades in there. One more question. I'll take this first, and then I'm going to kick it to you to answer as well. But the question is, does trading with a prop firm's money feel different from using your own? How can you keep a steady mindset to make the most money in both situations? I think the reality is that this is one of those psychological things, and it absolutely can play tricks on you. That you only have, let's say $400 that you spent on an account to lose. Naturally, people are willing to take more risk. I would really try to train your mind to focus each trade the same, meaning you view that $100,000 as your account, and then you don't make stupid trades. The worst thing you could do is get caught up in some of this get rich quick stuff and start making stupid trades, and you'll blow the account every single time you do it. So that's my answer on that one. Do you have one you want to share too?
Yeah. Sorry, repeat the question real quick, just so I know
So
exactly.
basically, in short, someone's asking, trading with a prop and trading with your own money, and
Yeah.
how do you kind of separate the two, but keep yourself balanced?
So the funny thing is, the first, again, there's two approaches to this. You can do one account, and then that is equivalent feeling to trading on a brokerage. Okay, I've done it trading on a brokerage. I've traded on a single account, and when I was doing all of my proving I can trade in front of the audience, I did that for 2-3 months straight, live streaming the same account in front of everyone. That felt the exact same as trading on a brokerage, right? Because you only have one shot, and if you mess it up, like then everything is ruined, right? And you have to be very, very careful. Or you can do the churn approach, where you basically risk the entire account or half of the account every single day, right? Knowing that you're going to pass a lot of them and fail a lot of them. So you can make it advantageous to you so that you don't care anymore. And that can be very beneficial or very detrimental, depending on how that I don't care mentality is used, right? When I'm trading and I don't care, that's useful in some ways, because that way I'm not panicking and stressing over the chart. But if I say I don't care and I just go willy-nilly, then it's going to be detrimental. All right. I seen that there was a funny question. I was trying to. Oh, here, I think this one. Somebody said, at what point can I tell people I'm a profitable trader or I'm a full-time day trader before they question my sanity? Something like that. What do you think, Ryan?
I think that when you're doing something, even if you're doing profitable, maybe you're not making enough to live on fully, but you're doing it as for fun, for a hobby, whatever, and you're profitable at it. I think it doesn't matter what the hell people think. Who cares? I mean, the reality is, in Thanksgiving in the United States was recently, and the reality is a lot of people are scared to talk about that with family because they get shunned upon, or told that they're need to go work a 9-to-5 job, this and that. You can do a job and trade, you can trade full time, whatever. But if you're profitable and you're successful at doing something, then it doesn't really matter what the hell people think. I wouldn't pay any attention to them.
Yeah, totally. What was there's another, I'm trying to remember all the questions I had read there too. As somebody said, is it possible to trade only? And that's your only source of income. And I suggest don't do that. I suggest having another source of income, because then you can have that kind of mentality of, I don't need this, I don't care, right? And it's the I don't care in a good sense, right? In that you don't need to force trades. I don't care if I make money today. That's what it should be. It's not I don't care about the money. It's that I don't care if I make money today. Okay. And I would say you don't want to be a full-time trader alone for a very long time, right? You want some sort of side income that's passive, or you trading while we're working, something like that, guys. That's the reality of getting into it. But the profit potentials, as we outlined in the notes here, guys, is once you've got some capital saved up, then you can invest that capital, right? You can trade it long-term, trade it with Bitcoin and whatnot, do the swing plays, do the NASDAQ swings as well, do whatever swings you need to with that larger capital, trade on prop firms, and use that as your extra kicks of money, right? So every time you get a payout, then you put that into your capital, right? And you're living off of those longer term swings, right? What's your thought on that? Anything else?
I think I would agree and echo pretty much everything you said on it. I don't think I would really change much. If you're at a point when you're starting out and you have to say, I need to make X to pay all my bills right now, then you're doing the wrong thing. to start out and learn this game, you have to have a relaxed mindset, and you have to be able to understand and kind of master the psychological part of it. And you cannot do that if you're depending on making your rent from, your week of trading. That's just, it's not possible. It's like people that at the beginning of the month, they go and they buy scratch off tickets, or they go to the casino to try to win enough money to pay their rent and food instead of just the rent. It's just not a good place to be long term when you're in a place where you have a bunch of allocated capital. Like Hunter said, you have long-term investments and so on. Then it's a whole different ballgame. Then you can go a month or two without making any money. It doesn't matter. There's successful traders that trade 4 or 5 times a year, literally. I know several of them, and so I would just make sure that you're in the right mindset and position before you kind of go down that road.
Yeah, there's another question that branches off of that. How do traders typically scale their earnings as they gain more experience and build their trading accounts? So as we were saying, say you take out of the prop firms, right? And you should live off of some of it, maybe spend some of it. But I think as Ryan was saying earlier, start reallocating that into your Bitcoin investments, save some for the side for future prop firm challenges. You could even put some into brokerage. Personally, I don't think I'm ever going to use a brokerage again. I buy and hold spot on crypto, right? I would be willing to take a short on crypto come once the bear market is confirmed. So I might put a little bit of capital in exchange, but brokerages just don't make a whole lot of sense to me anymore. So that's my opinion. I would rather be on a crypto exchange or a prop firm, personally.
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, just make sure your exchanges are you don't put too much money on them, because they're still a little bit shady, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I would always recommend that if you're doing that, if you have large sums or any sums of crypto, make sure that you have them parked in a wallet. Use the exchange for trading. Use the wallet to park the money that you're not going to touch.
I like to actually, funny enough, is because I come from the days of crypto long time ago where you didn't know which firms would go under. You didn't know who would just kind of take your money and you wouldn't have anything left, or you know what I mean. And the funny one is FTX actually did that, but this was common back in the day. You have no idea which ones are going to get hacked too, right? A lot of people got hacked, and so you would diversify. So you leave some in a bunch of different wallets everywhere, some exchanges, cold wallets, one on your phone, you know what I mean? And then that way they're everywhere. So if one does get hacked, you don't care that much. Between prop firms and personal capital, what factors influence the best choice for a trader? Well, as we've been saying, there is a benefit to sitting on a brokerage, right? And it is the only benefit would be that you don't have to follow the rules. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's the trade-off, right? If you want the perks of everything we just said, 10 times as much profit potential in terms of ROI and everything, right? 10 times as much, you have to follow the rules. It's as simple as that. If you don't want to follow the rules, you'll make less. That's it. But there might be some strategies that you need to adapt in order to follow the rules. And some strategies might not work at all on prop firms. So you might have to do some searching to see if you can find one that actually does work. Okay. How about we wrap up there? Is there anyone that stood out for a question? Let's see here. I forget who was. I think this guy, the Julius guy. He had a good question earlier. Julius Johanna. I think I'm going to give you the 50K account. I believe you had a good question earlier. Open up a ticket in Discord and then tag me, and I'll approve that $50,000 account for you. Julius, you're the winner of the $50,000 account. Guys, we do this every single Tuesday. In the new year, we're going to be starting something funky. I'm going to be live every single day at noon EST, every single day. noon EST. We're going to be talking about different things. There's going to be a different topic every day. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be education. There's going to be market analysis. There's going to be live trading. There's going to be a couple different hosts coming in throughout the week. So it's going to be fun. Guys, tune in for that. I'll see you guys next week, though, when we bring on Louise. We're going to be doing hypnosis, which is pretty funky. So ciao.
Awesome.